Okay, it's been a while. So obviously this is long overdue. I finished Queen of Shadows well, not that recently because I've already started the tandem read. But here I am. I'm just putting on primer now. I actually got a sample of the NYX Blur Screen primer in the mail. So play with that. Honestly, see if it breaks me out or not, because usually SPF does. Like, for some reason, like, for example, the Milani Make It Last with SPF breaks me out, so I, like, stopped using that. And they sound like garbage right now because I have a sore throat and I don't know why. I don't know what caused it. I feel fine, but I just sound like garbage. And this looks a little different because I am too lazy to clean off my desk. So we're doing this in my bed. On my bed, I should say. It's the middle of the day on a Sunday. Boyfriend's at work, so I thought I might as well get this done. There's my primer. Look that. My dog is like sitting right behind here and knocked my iPad at a funny angle. Okay. So, okay, primer is gonna hang out for a minute and do its thing. So I recently actually had my eyebrows waxed, and they were tinted, but I think between all the, lovely Washington rain and everything, they just got kind of fucked up. Ooh, that mirror's dirty as fuck. We're not gonna use that. It's a little better. Yeah, Washington rain, and time, and a lot of sweat because of work and everything, kind of got rid of a lot of that tint already, so we're just gonna take a pencil to these real quick. I will say it's a lot easier since I got them waxed and they're like shaped and stuff now instead of, the mess that they were in some of my previous videos. So, Queen of Shadows, first thing that I think needs to be talked about is Rowan and Aelin. Can just, yes, love that. Um, in my opinion, they're honestly just so good for each other, and like it seems unlikely. It gives me very like enemies to lovers kind of a vibe, I guess. And I really love that we really get to see more and find out more about Lysandra, because like I kind of had a feeling that she wasn't as bad as she seemed in some of the other books, that she wasn't that completely vapid fucking self-centered egotistical bitch that she was kind of made out to be. And I love to see that there's kind of like a budding friendship between Lysandra and Aelin at this point. And for me personally, I gained a lot of respect for Lysandra when we first get to meet Evangeline, and how Evangeline came into play in the story. And I also want to take a moment to point out that I thought it was kind of badass that she's a shifter. And I love that Rowan like pointed that out so casually when he first met her. Now, also in Queen of Shadows, we get introduced to Manon Blackbeak, and I have to say, even though she seems so cruel and everything, and I mean, she's supposed to be, because that's, something that witches value, is, brutality and fearlessness, obedience, all that. Pardon the cough. That I think, she still has a sense of right and wrong, and I think we'll really see that come into play later. And, I mean, already she has quickly become one of my favorite characters. I love getting to parts about her and everything she's going through with the 13 and her wyverns, and everything else. I also like that we get introduced to Nezrin. I feel like she becomes important later, as well as this kind of backtracks to Manon a little bit, where we see a lead come in. Because she has also, just as a character, she's impressed me a lot. And the fact that even after all of this time, that Alid, because Alid is so locked away from the world, she has no idea that Aelin is alive and everything, and the fact that she still holds out hope that she'll get out, I think speaks to her strength as a character. Despite, all the adversity from, being crippled so horrendously and losing her mom and everything else that happens to this poor girl. And seeing how Manon kind of takes charge of a lead and gets her kind of under her wing, so to speak. Again, it goes back to the fact that I think Manon, is a far more evolved witch than we are led to believe at first when we first get introduced to her. And I also believe that something ends up, you know, happening between Manon and Dorian, even though at this point, you know, Dorian is not himself, really. He's, you know, I think later on something happens between them, and I'm here for it because, you know, Dorian deserves somebody, especially after losing Sorsha and, you know, his, you know, feelings for Aelin are obviously unrequited, and everything else, you know, I would love to see Dorian end up happy. And quite frankly, with somebody that's just as powerful as he is. And not that, you know, we've really gotten to explore much of the depth of Dorian's power at this point. But, I mean, there's things that have hinted to it. And I think, you know, we'll really get a better idea of just how powerful Dorian actually is later. And, you know, I wish the same thing for Chaol with Nesrin specifically. Just in a lot of ways, I feel like Nesrin balances Chaol out in a way that Aelin never did. Don't get me wrong, I love our queen and savior Aelin, but I stand by Sarah J. Maas's decision to not have them be together permanently, because, you know, it would just be too obvious, and that's obviously not her style. And B, it allows for a lot more character development for both of these characters individually, in my opinion, which is also really nice to see. Keep looking down at my notes down here just because I wanted this to be a little bit more organized than my last one. Chaol and Nesrin, that's where we were. Yeah, I love that later on we do get to see Aelin and Chaol really reconcile with each other and are able to maintain some kind of friendship. I think that it was a huge character development moment for both of them. And the fact that they were able to wish each other well and be like, yeah, like, dude, go for it, you know, be happy. Like, thank you for being there for me when I needed somebody. And I also, you know, Adian, he is still kind of a mystery to me. In my opinion, I think Adian is a little bit jealous of Rowan and Aylin's relationship. Like, I know, because, I mean, if you think about it, like, you know, in royal families and stuff, incest was quite common. And I feel like there's a part of Adian that, you know, has feelings for Aylin far past, you know, being, I can't think of the term that they used, but past her being, like, her personal, like, bodyguard or whatever. So I think he's a little bit jealous. And he's kind of heartbroken about it. And like, I understand to a point, but at the same time, if you think about it, like, just be happy that after all of the insanity that Aylin has faced over the last 10 years, that she's finally happy, you know. And quite frankly, like, as far as I can tell right now, Rowan is a good guy. Like, I love that for Aylin. I mean, sure, you know, Rowan's kind of a growly prick, but Aylin's kind of growly and feral in her own way. So it's kind of a match made in heaven, in my opinion. And also, as far as Adian goes, I have a theory that Adian and Lysandra end up together. Which I'm not opposed to at all. Because I think it would be good for Adian to have somebody that bites back. And as far as Kale's injury goes, it, like, looking at it from a medical standpoint, unfortunately not like any sort of magic healer or anything, like, Kale's gonna have a very long, hard road to recovery. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. The boyfriend called. I kind of had to pick up. So I've done my base, and I'm about to blend out some concealer underneath my eye. I'm too lazy to go get a beauty sponge wet, so I am just using my Anissa Pinnacle foundation brush thing, which I also used for my to blend out my foundation. I mean, technically it's a tinted moisturizer, but you know what I mean. Quite frankly, I am thrilled that we finally get to see Dorian's dad meet his end. Especially the fact that it's, you know, at Dorian's hands, more or less. I think that Dorian's dad meeting his end at Dorian's hands speaks to that a new era is about to begin for Aderlin and Rifthold and all of that. I know in previous videos I said I wasn't really going to spoil anything, but it's so hard not to when you're trying to, you know, make content about everything and, you know, and talk about it freely. So if you haven't gotten that far, that happens. And I used way too much bronzer right there. That's okay, we can fix that. That's better. I do wonder what happens with Parrington, since remember Parrington's still in Morath and he is apparently possessed by Erewhon. So I'm very curious to see what happens with that. And I also kind of want to see how things with Maeve develop. So I finally got my hands on an Urban Decay all-nighter. I have never tried it as long as this has been out. So I'm going to use this to set the face before I go in with powder. And I will say, as far as this goes, I feel like the 2 lids are unnecessary. I feel like it's unnecessary packaging, but I respect it. I forgot the setting powder, now that I think about it. And back. because I wonder if, you know, I really want to see what happens with Maeve. You know, if she ends up being like an ally or an enemy for Aelin. Because, quite frankly, I want to eventually see some kind of peace for Aelin. So I'm hoping that, at the very least, out of respect for Aelin's mother, that, you know, Maeve is an ally. Because even after everything that they've been through already and are going to go through over the next 3 books, I am hoping that they find some peace and can, you know, rebuild their kingdoms and, you know, kind of, you know, change the course of, you know, relations between Terrassen and Adarlan and everything else, and just end all of the fucking misery and everything else that all of these poor fucking people have gone through, you know? Some ASMR for you. Just me tapping on my fucking setting powder. also got one of these poutclout plumping lip pens. I'm really excited to play with this. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about this, like, super clicky business, but let's see. Oh shit, that is, like, extra creamy. Oh fuck. I'm not mad at that, I just was not expecting it to be that, you know, anything like what it is. It's like a really nice nude color, and it's got like a subtle, like, minty feel to it. And it's not, like, overly aggressive. However, if you have, like, texture in your lips, this will definitely make that stand out, but hopefully once the plumper effect, you know, takes place, it'll be fine. But anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. I am currently doing the tandem read, so I will see you when I'm done with that. Bye!